of not only the ACC's leading rusher, but the 5th leading rusher nationally in A.J. Dillon.
Yeah, but to call a guy the toughest on the team, coming from the strength coach, from the weight room, says a lot about Ben Glines, and we'll see. But you're right, some big shoes to fill, the sophomore.
Michael Walker, very dangerous in the return game, and he'll field it a yard deep and bring it out. Walker flipped over just beyond the 25. And that's where the redshirt sophomore, Anthony Brown, Cliffwood, New Jersey, gets started.
Well, a student of the game and a great leader are some things that stand out with Anthony Brown. He can move around a little bit, buy himself some time, and he's got big targets, not just out at the wide receiver spot, but some tight ends, and plenty of them that can do a whole lot in this offense. A different look that you'll see most Saturdays from Boston College, thanks in large part to those tight ends like Tommy Sweeney.
11 personnel for Boston College with 3 wide receivers to start, and a quick throw by Brown. And on the far side, Kobe White the catch. Number 12 on the year for the sophomore redshirt from Harrisburg, PA.
Well, they come out slinging here with the young guy. And this is a Boston College team. They're right back over the ball. Ran a record 105 plays in the win over Temple last weekend, and right back at it.
Bootleg for Brown, out of bounds ahead of the pressure of Jermaine Pratt. So it'll be second down coming up for BC. And Dave Huxtable, the Wolfpack defensive coordinator yesterday, concerned about the bootleg game that BC packs.
Yes, they've got a great bootleg game. They do everything at this rapid pace, but one thing that a lot of tempo teams don't do is they've got those tight ends in there. They get you with some shifts and some motions at the same time.
Here's Glines on the carry, working left side, breaks free midfield, and Ben Glines knocked out of bounds by Pratt at the NC State 36-yard line.
Wes, this is going to be a physical game. Offensive lines, great play. We know NC State's been really good. Watch big 77, John Baker, get up and go. The big man leading the charge and sets a nice block. A big pancake for Ben Glines. How's that for a first run?
Boy, no kidding. 23 yards for Glines. 36-yard line of NC State. Here's the sweep, and this is Jeff Smith, and he'll get a yard. Smith, very dangerous. In fact, he's a multi-threat guy for BC offensively as the senior from St. Pete, Florida. And our hardy star to watch is NC State's linebacker and the ACC's leading tackler, James.
Big 6'3", 240-pounder Jermaine Pratt, the leading tackler, and sometimes just a little bit too aggressive and too good. He's got to make sure he plays within that scheme, because it's coordinator Coach Huxtable.
Pratt trying to close the pocket. Brown going to throw for the end zone and beyond the reach of Smith.
Well, they're glad to have Smith back. It was Jeff Smith injured in that game last week as well. And there's Pratt on the blitz. Brown taking a step to buy some time, and a little bit of pressure, but still he needs to make that throw. Had a guy running wide open and a chance. Third and long.
Levy's coming the backfield with Brown. First third down of the day for Boston College. BC 9th in the ACC. On third down, 8th is NC State defending the play. Crowd roaring at Brown. Trapped in the pocket. And Anthony Brown will be taken down at the 35. Loss of 1 on the play. Andreas Bryant. The senior knows Big E, they call the North Charleston, South Carolina senior.
Well, Big E and company, they did a fantastic job against Bryce Perkins, a very nifty quarterback from Virginia last weekend. Even getting held, Bryant strips away from it, comes and makes the play. Here they do it again. This is a team that lost the whole defensive line to the NFL draft last year. Let's see if they can stuff them on 4th and long.
13th time this year that Boston College has tried to convert 4th down. Out of the backfield and in the flat, this is Travis Levy, and he'll be banged out of bounds at the 30. So Boston College does not pick it up. NC State gets the hold. Nick McLeod made the stop of Levy, and the Pack gets the ball on a fine defensive stand.
These two defenses, these two defensive coordinators, look at these guys. Break down, come under control. Yeah, you may not make the tackle, but you know what? You don't go flying past and you give him a chance to run up the field, Isaiah Moore. From his middle linebacker spot You can call that a miss if you want, but he breaks down enough to slow him down, let his buddies come help him out, and you get off the football field. Adazio's got a great defensive coordinator, and so does Dave Doran. Two disciplined bunches, but this bunch right here, they've gotten out of gap control once too many, and they've been hit for the big long shot, 75-yard run last week.
Here's Finley, first down give, and Reggie Gallaspy gets a yard to the 31. And so Gallaspy, the senior from High Point, North Carolina, and he's one of two running backs we expect to see for NC State, but we know who the trigger man is, James.
Without a doubt, the transfer from Boise State. He came to town, a quiet guy to everybody outside the program, but boy, do those guys in the locker room love him. Ryan Finley, the leader, can sling it, a very smooth, very heady quarterback, and with so many weapons, can they make it a weapon on the ground today too?
Finley shoots it into a tight spot. Jacoby Myers the catch, and he'll spin to the 38. Nice play by Myers. And for Jacoby Myers, his 21st catch of the year. Harmon, Amezi, and Myers all with 20 or more grabs coming in.
Here's Finley's numbers, and here's a third down and short. Right off the bat, trying to stay on the field.
BC brings 4. And Myers another catch, first down.
Well, there's a veteran. There's a veteran, and there's a guy who's worked with this quarterback for a long time now. Nice, easy pitch and catch, knowing where those sticks are. Defensively, it's tough, but you got to also know where those sticks are. Know where he's going to try to break it off. Big on third down. Ryan Finley has been so good on third down.
Here's a sweep, and this is Steph Lewis. And Lewis gets to about the 46. Got knocked back by the safety, Will Harris. 5-yard gain on the ground with Stephon Lewis, who's really battled some injuries. James, we saw him take a big lick in the Georgia State game and battled an injury in week 1.
You look at this roster, the receivers for Dave Doran, and Steph Lewis and Jacoby Myers, the only ones who haven't gotten into the paint.
Yeah. Kerry Angeline, the tight end, in that slot to the left side for second down. Here's another throw. What a catch! Harmon came back to make the play, and that was against Hamp Cheevers, James.
This is the matchup they want. They want Kelvin Harmon on Hamp Cheevers. Look at Cheevers. He's got good coverage. He's there. But you know what? Harmon is more physical. He's stronger. He's bigger. There's some pushing going on there that's part of it. Beautiful back shoulder throw. Harmon gets a little bit of space with his arms, separates, catches it. Big catch.
True freshman Ricky Person Jr.'s checked in for the Wolfpack. First and 10, ball at Boston College's 33. We're off and running from Raleigh today. Here's Person, left side, 25, and driving to the 20-yard line. 13 yards on the carry for Ricky Person.
Right, they're banging, they stretch it here, and listen to, you can hear them all the way up here in the booth. The helmet's popping, and an excellent job there by Tyler Jones, the 4-year starter, to really get a push and make that gap even wider, and count that as a big play. You can't give up those big runs, and that's one thing that's hurt them at times. They get out of gap control, they can't hold their ground. You don't trade 1-for-1 on every one of those blocks or you get hurt.
Here's the throw. This is Lewis, and Finley threads the needle, James. It'll be first and goal for NC State.
And that right there, Wes, is what I'm talking about. As they go into the CPI red zone, what the run sets up, Wes. The run sets up the pass. If they're able to run that football and you got that defense on their heels, it's going to feel like everything's working. And right now, this is one heck of an opening drive for Finley and his offense.
8th play of the drive for NC State. First and goal. Boston College's 7. Pistol for Finley. That's Autenreith, one of the two tights on the field in motion. And that time, Ray Smith, the senior nose tackle from Carlsbad, California, jumped into the neutral zone. And Riley Johnson's the referee.
Offside, defense number 96. Half the distance to the goal. Still first down.
You see the big man. You get 305, 310 pounds moving. You can't stop it. You're going to get him a little bit closer. You know, Dave Doran, it's funny talking to him yesterday about the mentality of both his team and Steve Adazio's team when teams get down in the red zone against their defenses. They get angry. They've had some good stops, but this is a tough one here. Fresh set of downs now for this defense.
Person trying to fight and turned away at about the 3. Max Richardson, sophomore weak side linebacker from Duluth, along with Isaiah McDuffie in on the stop for the Eagles. James, these are 2 of the best red zone defensive units in the ACC. Boston College has only allowed 14 touchdowns and 19 red zone possessions. In fact, they've had also forcing 2 turnovers.
And how about Doran's comment about it yesterday? He's like, those defenses, they feel like they've let everybody down, just letting them get down there, so then they get even tougher.
Gallaspy in the ball game. Finley wants to throw here. Tried to loop it, either Gallaspy or Kerry Angeline. And I don't think Gallaspy was able to break free from the BC coverage.
Yeah, I think it was Will Harris that came up and gave him a shot in the ear hole. And, it's funny. That's a perfect example of just, that's football and it's going to happen. But if Gallaspy has the ball in that case, then Will Harris probably kicked out because it's targeting. But those are shots that when you're not watching the ball that are happening every single play. It's a physical sport, especially on a day like today. These 2 teams going at it. Great job defensively. Now it's 3rd and goal.
They got it loaded up now. That's Lewis in motion. Finley now. Play clock winding down, and finally a timeout will be taken by the Wolfpack. So, 3rd and goal coming up from Boston College's 3-yard line. And an early think tank session for Dave Doran here. NC State's played games with James Madison. We were here for Georgia State. Both have been really, really hot days. And overcast skies greet us for the Pack and Eagles, and out of the timeout, big 3rd down coming up. Finley hands Gallaspy, driving toward the end zone. He got in. Touchdown for NC State.
Well, that's good to see if you're a Wolfpack fan. Give it to the big dogs up front. Let them eat. Let's see what they can do. And also give it to a guy, remember, in Gallaspy. All week long, after the big performance by Ricky Person, everybody's been talking about Person being the guy in the backfield. Give it to that back, the senior Gallaspy. Let him go behind that big offensive line. And remember, that wasn't always easy, those situations, last time we were here against a Georgia State team.
Here's Christopher Dunn, the freshman. And the extra point is good. Touchdown number 6 for Reggie Gallaspy. 23rd NC State draws first blood.
All right, here's how they did it. 7-0 Wolfpack through the air, of course. Kelvin Harmon using the big body. How about the big bangers, the offensive line up front? A 5.8-yard average per rush on 5 carries in that opening drive. Gallaspy sealing the deal behind the blocks of that big offensive line. And I really like the way that offensive line as a unit are getting off the ball, getting off the spot, clearing the way for Reggie Gallaspy, the senior for High Point, North Carolina. So
now Kyle Bambard will have to kick it away, and Michael Walker, number 1 in the ACC, in top 20 nationally, and kick return average at 27.4, plays from the 2. Here's Walker, lowering the shoulder and driving it to the 22-yard line. Tackle made by Stephen Griffin. Rebecca Capel downstairs with our Synovus Greatness Made Here guest.
That's right. He probably looks familiar to a lot of people in this area. Nyheim Hines, drafted last year in the 4th round to the Colts and doing well so far. But what's it like to be back? Because you're from this area anyway.
It's blessed to come back. Not much has changed since I left, but there's nothing like home. I love Indianapolis, but there's nothing like Raleigh, North Carolina, and Garner, North Carolina, so I'm happy to be back.
And nothing like this atmosphere, right?
Yes, in the NFL, it's a great environment. I love the Colts environment, but there's something about it's like a homely feel here, probably because I'm from here, so it's nice being back in the NC State area.
And you picked a great matchup to come to. Put your coach's cap on because you know Boston College is physical. You've dealt with them before. What's the key today?
Physicality with them, you have the matchup physicality. They're going to be really disciplined, and you can't really do anything to beat yourself. It's probably going to, I don't know how high of a scoring game it's been, but every time we play them, it's a low-scoring game, and it's like it comes down to the 4th quarter, so it's going to be a 4-quarter game, so we have to execute.
Well, through 5 games with the Colts, you've scored 3 touchdowns, and you're always fun to watch because you always do a dance after your favorite video game, Fortnite. So give us a little sample of your favorite dance.
My first touchdown dance was the orange justice from Fortnite, so so I just hit it and.
There you go.
I love it. This guy's got some moves, guys. Still got it.
Great to see Nyheim Hines. Thanks, Rebecca. Well, what a talented guy he was here. There's a throw on first down, and Travis Levy. Now, Levy and Glines, and we may see the freshman David Bailey, all tasked with replacing the productive A.J. Dillon here today, who's not even on the trip with Boston College.
Quickly over the ball. How about that first down? While we were hearing from Hines, but they eked out staying in bounds and pounding it. You know, Hines not only physical in talking about matching the physicality of Boston College, but he ran a 10 300 meters. That helps a little bit too. Catch it out of the backfield.
Yeah, his sister also an outstanding track star here at NC State. Great to see Nyheim Hines and the success he's having with Frank Reich in Indianapolis.
And hometown crowd, he was fired up about. They're pumped right now, all on their feet, trying to get this defense a big stop.
Brown off the hands of Smith, incomplete. Chris Ingram, the sophomore at corner. Boy, it looked like there might have been a little bit of confusion with Walker and Smith out there, James.
Well, I think so. They ran the route in the exact same place, and Smith coming out of there, it looks like he's going to get tangled up with Walker a little bit. Michael, there you go on the other side, trying to maybe run some interference for the defensive back, a little pick play, but he got in the receiver's way. And really, BC lucky that one didn't get picked off. They'll punt it away.
Here is Grant Carlson, redshirt sophomore from Missouri City, Texas, to punt it away, and it's a good one. Thayer Thomas at the 25 and took a big leg. Ball popped loose. And did NC State get on it? We'll see. No, Boston College has it.
Wow.
Mediella Track knocked it loose. Thomas tried to catch it in a crowd.
The Eagles have had some mishaps on special teams, but as a whole, Steve Adazio said, I am so happy with the core unit, how they've played, and this shows the hustle right here. Initially, I even thought it might have been a targeting, but even better, the first one down there goes to the side. It was not a helmet-to-helmet. What a huge play in the third phase of the game for an offense that needed to stay on the field a little bit longer, give that defense a break here early.
Glines. Pratt will make the tackle 5 yards down the field. Big turnover here early in the ballgame, James.
Right down there knocking at the door, and they're showing you Glines. Good job up front by these guys, too, and they're in the backfield leading the way. Garrison, the tight end. Mentioned those tight ends like Sweeney. They line them up all over.
Great rallying by the Wolfpack there. Pratt again. Boy, Jermaine Pratt's been everywhere early.
Now the leading tackler in the ACC. He's hunting him down. His coach, Dave Huxtable, said, you know, sometimes he gets going a little bit too fast, a little too far. Got to settle him down, settle him down. He wants to make every single tackle out there.
Keep an eye on Tommy Sweeney, tight end, bottom of the screen here for Boston College. Brown to Sweeney, knocked away and almost intercepted by Dexter Wright. They were trying to dial the redshirt senior Sweeney.
Well, and here early on, and there's time for Brown, but still, there's a little bit of pressure in his face, but he has a clear look down the field and still decides to throw it. Great job by the defender of slipping in there, Dexter Wright. He should have hung on to it and had an interception there in the end zone. Instead, it'll be a Boston College field goal attempt. 33-yard try for Colton Lichtenberg, his first attempt of a field goal this year. Kick away, and that's just Boston College's second made field goal and second field goal attempted. But a win for NC State. He's hit some big ones for him over the years. They're glad to have him back and glad to have this guy back in town. Orange juice.
For your keys.
My core, you've got to shut down that run and line it up. Both lines, offensively, defensively, for NC State. That's going to be so big today.
Where's my run defense?
Well, you know, Adazio and his dudes. Not that they've been non-existent, but dude, they better be there today, dude.
Boy, am I glad you found your keys. Ball at the 25 for NC State. No return for trial.
Hey, then let's not get too far away from it without acknowledging the fact that Dave Huxtable's defense was called right back out there and was good enough to hold BC to a field goal after that fumble on the punt return team of NC State. Well, dude, where's my run defense? They better show up right here. 5.8 yards per rush on 5 carries on that opening drive.
Play fake to Person. Finley going to cut it loose. Amezi, the deep threat. And 2 Eagles contested, including Hamp Cheevers. And it looked like maybe Mike Palmer was also down there. There's Palmer, sophomore redshirt, Endwell, New York, who's been a backup in the secondary for him.
Palmer, a high school quarterback, does a good job knowing what to do there on the other side of the ball. With safety running, snap that head around. So 2nd down and 10 after the incompletion.
Yep. Eli Drinkwitz goes through his formation packages now. 2-by-2 look here on 2nd and 10. And this is the breakaway, Ricky Person. 1st down. Isaiah McDuffie runs him out of bounds, James, but I like Ricky Person now. Low to the ground, 17 yards on just his 2nd carry there, 3rd carry of the 1st half.
Well, they've got to be stopped at the line. They get a chance to knock him down. It's John Lamont, the backup middle backer, and he lets them slip on through. Look at the big bodies again up front. That's exciting. And the little man now, you've got competition now at the running back spot. We talked about the competition that they have with the wide receivers. Now Gallaspy in Person able to go back and forth. That can be scary for opponents.
2 tight ends, Autenreith in the backfield, Angeline up on the line. Finley fake the throw, now he'll tuck and run and dive to midfield. A lot of poise involved in that, James. John Lamont there after the 8-yard play. A lot to like here, and coming up on 2nd down and 2.
And how about Finley, the star of the show, the guy who's all their hopes. You come around here, hang on that quarterback, he's diving head first, trying to get a couple extra yards. Tuffy landing on Tuffy.
Person, and close to the 1st down. So it'll be 3rd down coming up, Rebecca.
And guys, running back Ricky Person Jr., game changer last week when he returned to action. Back again despite being in treatment all week, not really practicing much. He isn't 100%, but Coach Doran says he refuses to sit on the sidelines and watch.
He said, I'm going. You know, the young guys, how many times have you heard, well, if he were a senior, he'd be playing. If he were a junior, he'd be playing. But he's a freshman. That's not the case with Ricky Person.
3rd down and a yard for the Wolfpack. Look at Finley. Option, slides, 1st down. Come on now, really? James, how about that?
Well, hey, it's all it takes, you know. And a good job by that right side of the offensive line. Josh Fed Jackson and Justin Witt to win the battle. And they picked the right way to go because on the other side, it was a couple BC helmets that were striking through there first. So a fresh set of downs here now. And this BC defense, the only stop so far they've had in this game has been on special teams. Another 1st down, staying on the football field here for an offense that's best in the ACC, 3rd down percentage.
Finley shoots it to Myers. And Jacoby Myers will get 9 on 1st down to the 38 of the Eagles. So Jacoby Myers has already picked up 3 catches here in this 1st half.
Playing off of him a little bit, and that's going to be there all day long until you step up and take it away, and I'd keep coming back to it. But you're starting to see, too, what balance can do for an offense, and on the flip, what it can do, give headaches to a defense. When you're able to run it a little bit, run some play action in there and some quick game like they are.
Snap is poor. Finley just got to get on it. NC State will lose a ton of yardage here, back into their own territory at the 47. Loss of almost 15 on 3rd and short. Or will be 3rd and short, I should say. On 2nd and short, now to be 3rd and long. And a flag down across the way.
Sideline warning, Boston College.
That's a
First
shocker.
warning.
You mean Adagio and those guys are a little bit too anxious over there? And here's so far, NC State, the only thing that's really stopped them is themselves. Another ball on the ground. Fortunate to get this one back. And you got to know where they're trying to get here. These sticks, and this could very well be 2-down territory if they get up there and feel good about the yardage needed here on 3rd and 16.
70 seconds to go first half. Finley up in the pocket, dodging the pressure. Now cuts it loose. Myers on a knee at the 31. What a catch, Jacoby Myers, and what pretty good mobility out of Ryan Finley, too. 21-yard throw, James.
Well, and a nice job by Myers again. Here's the mobility you talk about up front. Able to get out of the way. They bring 4. There's plenty of time because the O-line does their job. And then Myers, he knows where that stick is. He's going to set it right down there in front, in the middle of the zone, right in front of Palmer. And you had Jones in there as well from his linebacker spot, but you have to have a feel for where they're trying to go and where those bodies are. You can't go chasing ghosts on defense, especially in a 3rd and 18. You're going to get off the field. What a punch in the gut.
Here's Gallaspy. And knock back Ray Smith inside the 30 toward the 28. That very well could be the final play of the opening period here in Raleigh. Boy, NC State playing with a tremendous amount of poise, James, in this opening period.
Well, how's that for 3rd down once again? And coming into this game, they're almost 60% on 3rd down. That's good enough for 3rd in the nation. And oh yeah, by the way, they just converted one that was 3rd down and almost 20. They're now 4 for 4.
15 minutes in the books at Carter Finley. The one turnover on the NC State punt return, and quite frankly, the Wolfpack defense held BC at the door for a field goal opportunity.
4 of 4 for Finley in this offense on 3rd down conversions. Ofer on the other side.
5 receivers here, James. Finley looking for Myers. What a catch! Inside the 10, 1st and goal.
Well, they get him on 3rd down and 16 by just bringing 4. BC tried to bring 4, didn't blitz. This time they blitz. Finley knows it's coming. He knows it's coming here right off the edge, but he stays in there strong and still able to throw a throw that only Myers can go up and grab. We talked off the top of the show about these receivers and how aggressive they are, how strong they are. It's not good enough. We've seen time after time these guys running stride for stride right in the hip pocket, these defenders for BC of NC State, but still, the Wolfpack receivers wanted a little bit more, a little bit stronger, going up more physical and pulling it down.
On the wraparound, here's Myers, and he'll lose yardage, maybe 3 yards behind the line. Max Richardson, 14, led the charge, along with Will Harris, the safety. Best tackler Boston College has gotten that secondary is the senior from just outside of Atlanta. Let's check with Rebecca.
And guys, Jacoby Myers has his own fan section here. His family, all of them, drive up from Georgia every single weekend, including Grandma, who's a big Jacoby Myers fan, although she's not here today because he told us she has a date.
He said he had to do a background search and make sure that it was an okay guy that she was dating.
Here's Gallaspy fighting to about the 3. And it will be 3rd and goal again, James. Here we go again with the Wolfpack inside the 5 and 3rd down.
It was Gallaspy in this similar situation, closer to the goal line for Coach Dave Doran at the other end in the 1st quarter, the only touchdown of the game. The 3rd down, and you know everything gets a little bit tighter here when you get down in the red zone, when you get down inside, especially the 5-yard line. So it's a little bit tougher to run some of those routes that we've seen so successful here throughout the day. Let's see if they dial up a blitz this time, if it's a throw.
Persons in the backfield, blitz coming from the Eagles. Finley got to get rid of it, and intercepted. Intercepted and falling off to make the play is the defensive end, Zach Allen. It's the 9th interception of the year for Boston College after Wyatt Ray was able to force the early throw with his pressure.
Well, they brought the blitz. They come this time, and Finley again in there cool. Thought he was going to have it, but just like you said, Wes, covering down the field is Zach Allen, the big defensive end. Such an athletic pass rusher, showing you what he can do here in coverage. And it's numbers. It's Finley thinking he knows exactly what's going on, and he thinks that with the pressure that he can just force it in there. But Ryan Finley's smarter than that. Ryan Finley, hey, you live to just go ahead and kick a field goal, get 3 out of it. Instead, he turns it over, just hoping for a prayer. You've got some strong receivers, but not that strong.
Glines trying to get to the perimeter. Loss of 2 on the play. Great run pursuit led by Isaiah Moore there, 41.
How good are you when it comes to sudden change? On defenses out there, that says a lot about a coaching staff. That says a lot about a defense. We've already seen it on the fumble on the punt. Here's a turnover on downs, or an interception rather. They're out there playing hard immediately, back-to-back big plays.
Well, I tell you what, NC State flowing to the football. James Smith-Williams on a ball intended for Sweeney. He got to Brown. NC State's all over the place now, James.
Well, and they've got this Wolfpack crowd that was a little bit grumpy about getting up early for another game. They want to tailgate all day and come party at nighttime here in Carter Finley. They're amped right now. They're excited about a defense that people weren't sure what they were going to get out of because of all the guys they lost last year.
BC 0 for 3 on 3rd down. Brown in the gun. State trying to get there, and it's caught, but short of the 1st down at the 10. Boy, pretty clever grab in traffic by Michael Walker. But that's still 3 and out for NC State off the sudden change.
Right, and still 0 for on 3rd down there by the BC offense. And it's a defense too. Hey, you can run that route, Walker. Go ahead, run it. You're 5 yards shy, 8 yards shy of the 1st down. You can have that all day. We'll close on you. We'll make the play and turn it back over to our offense. So now 2 turnovers here forced by BC. Only 3 points to show. We just get a little bit of padding off that completion there for the opponent.
Carlson to drive it toward Thomas. Let's see what Thomas does here. Remember, he fumbled the 1st one after the hit. Plays off the 37. Here's Thayer Thomas into Boston College territory to the Eagle 45. Despite the 2 turnovers, the Pack a 4-point. Week 6 in the ACC. Great to be with you from Carter Finley Stadium in Raleigh with James Bates, Rebecca Capel, Western. Best starting position for the Wolfpack of their 3 drives. And Person fights for about 3 on 1st down toward the 42. Boston College, Carafa makes the play. Big redshirt junior from Ashburn, Virginia on the freshman Ricky Person. Boy, they're excited about him in Raleigh.
Aren't they? He's a people person. It takes a lot of people to bring him down. Been banged up.
Yeah. Empty set for Finley, 3 to the boundary, including Lewis. Quick throw. This is Thayer Thomas's first catch of the day. 16th of the year. Taj Amir Torres, the tackle after 12 yards. Oh, look at this.
His fans didn't even see it, though.
Thayer the Slayer.
Turn around so you can watch him make the catch.
Look at that. Thayer the Slayer. Heritage High School worked with the all-time Wolfpack great Torrey Holt in the offseason, James, to get better.
We had a bit of a coming out party when we were here last with Georgia State.
Sure did. Yep, absolutely.
Went off.
Person again. Well, got slowed down momentarily, but is able to fight for a couple of more. Zach Allen, preseason All-ACC at defensive end to stop.
Well, hanging on for dear life there. And we've seen, you know, it's a defense that has had trouble in space at times with the open field tackles. But here they've actually had some trouble. They've missed a couple tackles. Not that one, but they've missed a couple right there at the line of scrimmage that have really cost them. Allen able to hang on right there. What a good-looking defensive end. All the guys across the front, very fundamentally sound, outstanding players.
Finley in that power pistol look. Rips it, intercepted. Is that Bletzer? It is. Kevin Bletzer, the linebacker, pulls away the 3rd NC State turnover and the 2nd interception of the day, 3rd of the year for Ryan Finley.
Wow, the experience. So the run, the play fake, boom. That's supposed to pull that linebacker off because he's got to respect that run enough. Bletzer, you can get a feel. And again, I don't know that a freshman or a sophomore just has, unless it's a natural knack, a feel of the game like that. where you can read off the line. You know it's a pass, so I'm not going to go for that fake on the run. I'm not going to get out of my spot. Boom, throws it right to him. How about that? 2 interceptions by this defense against the mighty Ryan Finley. But can Anthony Brown and company march it down the field and do something with it now?
Play fake by Brown, looking deep and incomplete. Looking for Chris Garrison, his tight end on the wheel route. He had C.J. Lewis on the post in the middle of the field, but opted to try and dial it for Garrison.
Well, you know what? They dialed it up, trying to get the mismatch, what they might think mentally. Speaking of the young guys, Tanner Engel, just a freshman. Hey, maybe we can get this freshman on the wheel route, get him biting on that out. It's not happening with Tanner Engel. Very mature football player.
Wow, Klein's hit behind the line. Wolfpack flying to the ball. Aleem McNeil, true freshman from here in Raleigh at Sanderson High School, made the stop. That stat we ran a moment ago, James, 3 takeaways, and now it's almost back to 1 yard of offense for BC off those takeaways.
0 for 4 on 3rd down. This one they have to go 11 yards to move those chains.
Brown out in the flat, Glines trying to find an edge and will not get the first down. Engel was fighting through traffic over there, the freshman linebacker. They had all sorts of contact over there, just an 8-yard play.
Well, you're going to get some pressure, but that's because they're setting up the screen. The big guy's letting them through, just running out of space. Again, good and sound that the linebackers and in the secondary, hey, let them dink and dunk. Let them get those screens. We're all in position. Nobody's out of position. They've got them in the angles. And Steve Adazio, he wants that offense to stick out there a little bit longer. He's got his defense holding him to 7 with a couple interceptions.
Carlson's punt to Thomas. Bearcats call for and made at the 20. We'll also review what teams are making that run for the postseason, James. Coming up with Jeff Fischel.
Well, can Virginia Tech climb on back in a big way tonight? The mighty Irish coming to town.
Finley. Gallaspy trying to sweep right. Nicely done. Big lick by Lucas Dennis. Led the nation in interceptions a year ago. He's already got 1 this season. And that's close to a first down. Be a yard shy as Steve Adazio, native of Connecticut, coaching these Eagles. Both these guys in their 6 seasons. Over there with the side judge for a word about the spot. 2nd and 1.
Again, I like the competition that's now been created in this backfield. Ricky Person and Gallaspy trading off. They can spell each other too.
Gallaspy will fall forward for the first down, reaching the 33.5-yard line. Wyatt Ray the stop, and that brings us to our Toyota Tweet of the Week. And this comes from the folks at Pro Football Focus. They do some college work, James, on the research.
Okay.
How about this from last Saturday? Against Virginia.
Well, I mean, they've done their job up front, that's for sure. Only 2 sacks against them coming into this game. First in the ACC. And, you know, the pressure phased him a little bit, I'd say, on that last interception that he threw.
Yep. Finley dancing in the pocket. Crosses body. Angeline, beg your pardon. Kerry Angeline in his 3rd game of eligibility since transferring from Southern Cal with the catch of 24 yards.
Well, the rich getting richer when it comes to pass catchers. There's the pressure coming off the edge, and Finley, again, cool and calm. Let me buy myself some time getting around Wyatt Ray. He breaks contain. Then he's got the big body out there just waiting on that football. You know how football's changed a lot, not just we talk about the targeting, but they really let those offensive lines, and they're doing it both ways. They let them hold a lot more than they used to. Defensive guys don't even complain anymore. I can't even believe it.
Here's the give, and look at Gallaspy fighting inside the 20. And a flag thrown in behind it as Will Harris made the stop. 22-yard run and might be a little extra behind it.
Personal foul, horse collar, defense, number 8. The penalty is half the distance to the goal line. Automatic first down.
First he had a little piece of that face mask. They didn't call it there, and that's the sleeve of the jersey, and it gives him that horse collar jerk. Obviously not something that they can send back up and review, but that's a tough one right there. You know, I was looking back, and I thought maybe we got to pat the big man, Sculthorpe.
Yeah.
Big Joe Sculthorpe, 71 on the back. He got down the field, and he just annihilated a defender. And I thought maybe they were going to call him for being a bully.
Here's the power pistol. Power pistol, and Gallaspy bounces off one, but Zach Allen wrestles him back.
There's a flag. That is a face mask there.
Here comes the laundry.
What would that be, Wes? A 10-yard penalty for bullying?
I'm going to let you sort that out.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 2. The penalty is half the distance to the goal line, and an automatic first down.
Well, Zach Allen's a load, isn't he?
Oh, gosh, he's got him by the shirt, too.
Yeah. Center judge threw the flag in there, so fresh set of downs for the Pack. Gallaspy again. Boy, got stopped right at the door, right around the 1.
Well, this is such a big drive. You start deep in your own territory about the 20, 25-yard line for NC State. You've been able to move the football, and you've been able to really control this football game offensively and defensively, but with the 3 turnovers, you've kept them in it. And now, to go down here late as we go into 5 minutes in this first half, boy, this is huge. If the defense can come out and stand, they can go in up 14-3 in the halftime locker room.
Extra offensive lineman, Gallaspy fighting for the goal line, touchdown.
Zach Allen.
Yep, down.
Struggling.
Second rushing score for Gallaspy. He's got both the NC State touchdowns.
There's one more look at that touchdown, and it's been having their way up front when they've needed this offensive line, as advertised. They've done a fantastic job here today. They have definitely done their part. We talked about how they protected Finley when it comes to the pass game, but getting it done on the run game as well. And Gallaspy not so ready to hand over the football to the freshman. 2 big touchdown runs. Really just friendly fire. His buddy coming in there, Isaiah McDuffie. Unless it is the initial lick there as he ran into Gallaspy.
That is a tough dude, by the way. That guy right there. Ooh. All those people were worried about Harold Landry a year ago, and he went to work.
He's a hard charger, and it's, the look on his face right now isn't one. Looks like he's very happy he's going to get a chance to get back in there.
11-point lead for the Pack. Second quarter continues in a moment. Carter Finley Stadium. Dave Doran's got to be happy with his team. James, they have survived the 3 first-half turnovers so far.
1 on the punt return team. Thayer putting it on the ground, and then something that you don't see very often around here. A couple mistakes by Ryan Finley. The interceptions thrown, but an 11-point lead to show for it. Only 3 points scored off of those turnovers for BC, and here they'll have one more chance before halftime, perhaps.
Bambard will kick it away. And this will be Walker at the 5. Trying to circle back across the field, and a flag thrown in behind the play. Walker makes it to the 32-yard line, so we'll check with Riley Johnson here on the penalty.
There in the return, holding by the return team number 25. The penalty is half the distance to the goal line. First down.
Mediella track.
It was Medi that caused that fumble on the punt cover unit.
He tackled. Just basically tackled the guy, so they're probably going to throw a flag most times on that.
Well, it's easy for us to laugh, but if we're sitting there in the same room right now with Adazio, ain't nobody laughing on that sidelines, because again, you put yourself in a hole. You've had a hard enough time as it is. Still 0 for 5 on third downs. They have not converted a third down yet today. And now you've got it back at your own 10, trying to drive and do something, get it in the end zone for the first time.
Brown from under center. Here's the give to Glines. Hard running. He and Isaiah Moore, pretty good collision, and Glines pushes it for a couple to the 13. Remember, they're playing without A.J. Dillon. Ankle injury last week against Temple.
What? It looks like Thunder Dan, the strength coach around here. Boom! Look at him. Bring those. He got a little bit of a lick, too, there from Glines. That was one heck of a collision.
Like the old Batesy Gator days. Here's Brown looking for the open man, and that is Kobe White. First down, Boston College to the BC 39-yard line. And second catch of the day for Kobe White.
Nice job being on the same page there. Brown and White, they break that route off, and Nick McLeod, it's floating in the clouds a little bit too much. He's got to be a little bit more aggressive.
Too tight look. Brown to throw from it again, looking for Smith, and overshoots it, incomplete. Backside coverage from Jarius Moorhead on Jeff Smith, Rebecca.
Well, guys, quarterback Anthony Brown's been chatting with his offensive line this entire game, trying to keep their spirits up on that last possession, telling them to buckle down and urging them to push the tempo on every single drive and take nothing for granted. They want touchdowns, not field goals.
Well, Rebecca, they've had a couple opportunities, a couple missed balls by Brown. The long shots, they got to connect.
That's Glines. He'll pick up about 5. Tim Kidd Glass, who we saw have a nice ball game here against Georgia State, on the stop for the Wolfpack.
You know, Wes, that's the second. There was one that Brown missed in the end zone after the turnover earlier. We'll take a look at Brian White, the running back coach here, helping with the signals for his backs on a big 3rd down and 5. And there's another miss. But here's a chance to get their first 3rd down conversion. You talk about huge here. What's this defense going to dial up?
3:10 to go first half. Brown and sacked. Deontay Holden and James Smith-Williams meet at the quarterback.
Wes, they lost 4 guys, I remind you, to the NFL draft. But what's going to happen now on that defensive front? Well, they're going to be athletic, but are they going to be heady football players? Are they going to play like those guys did? You can't just have 1 or 2 rushers. You got to have everybody working as a unit. And when you've got guys that are disciplined and in their rush lanes, there's nowhere to go. It shows right there off the field again.
Carlson's punt. Fair call. Thayer Thomas at the 14. So, 47-yard punt, no return. State will take over there with 2:27 to play. And quick check of our Week 6 story. Started last night at Cardinal Stadium, James.
And it hasn't stopped. My goodness. Nobody has stopped Georgia Tech on that Louisville defense as of now. How about the Canes and the Noles? Boy, would that be a big one for FSU to get back on track. And talk about getting back on track. The Hokies doing it a little bit last weekend. Win over Duke. Can they take one more big step? I wouldn't count them out.
No, not tonight.
Notre Dame's better than they've been in a long, long time. But I wouldn't count them out.
I was with Irish head coach Brian Kelly in the spring, James, and he looked at me and said, those night games in Blacksburg, I went, Coach, they're a little different now. He goes, you think we'll have a night game? I said, pretty sure.
Yeah. As sure as they're going to play Metallica.
Yep. Finley, quick throw on first down. And Myers close to another first down. And, of course, the Hokies get the second career start tonight for Ryan Willis, young man who transferred from Kansas and looked pretty good last Saturday night in the win at Duke.
Right. It's tough to replace big Josh Jackson. What a tough blow for that football team in the loss to Old Dominion.
Here, look at Person. He'll get another first down. That's 14 yards for Ricky Person. Coming up on 2 minutes, James.
Look what you've got here. Hines is back in the house to see the guys that are filling his shoes. It may take 2 guys, but that's all right. The 1-2 punches look good today. Gallaspy with 2 touchdown runs, and Person just keeps getting it done. Look at him go again.
And he will drive the stack toward the 43. Davon Jones, who at one time in his career was a running back, made the stop, and he is shaken up on the play. Boy, it's been a bruising first half on both sides, and Jones is really agonizing here. Zach Allen shaken up earlier, and now Davon Jones is hurt. And Steve Adazio out to check on Jones, the redshirt junior. James, we saw him line up at linebacker or at running back a couple of years ago as a freshman, and was a talented guy. Moved over to the defensive side, and they're looking at the lower leg on the left side.
We're talking to his defensive coordinator this week, Jim Reed. He had some guys banged up a couple years ago, and when Davon Jones was still a tailback, and he said, he goes, I need some bodies, coach, from that offensive side of the ball. He said, who you want? He said, I want Jones. He said, what? That's the third string tailback. Why do you want him? He goes, I want him. Gosh, hope he's all right.
Yep.
And there he is right there in the middle.
Man. Boy, I tell you, the A.J. Dillon injury last week against Temple, James, in watching a replay of that ball game, they're just running the outside edge play, and it's kind of the roll up from behind it. And you know what? I think we're seeing a little more of that this year. Just that traffic collision and injury from it.
Yeah.
There's Zach Allen. It's good to see him.
Oh, goodness. Hopefully Jones is all right as well. Earlier in the game, if you didn't see it, Zach Allen left the game with what looked to be a shoulder injury. Still plenty of time for Finley in this offense. They'll get the ball to start the second half, too.
Ryan taking the shot. Harmon, did he get a foot down? Sure he did. Boy, Kelvin Harmon is a show now.
Good job, protection, plenty of time for Finley. And there's that back shoulder throw. We've seen it to Meyer a couple times in this one, and that one's a no-doubter. They don't even need to look at it. They don't even need space, those receivers. Again, we've got defensive backs running with them. They're just strong enough to separate.
Finley shoots it in a gap to Myers. Right in front of Harris.
Right in front of the referee, too, and it's a hold without a doubt, but it just doesn't matter because he's so strong. Watch the jersey being pulled here as Myers comes out of the break, runs right through the jersey. You can't even slow him down. I mean, if it's a little skinny guy there, he's going to be affected by it a little bit.
Jacoby Myers has 8 first-half catches, and here's Person, and boy, into a pack of white shirts there, headed by the nose, Ray Smith. And a timeout is taken by the Wolfpack with 69 seconds to play here in this first half.
That was a big play to stop the bleeding right there by this defense. And they'll get a chance to catch their breath, but taking your breath away is number 11. Banging around. That was the 3rd and 16 conversion. There he is across the middle. Look at him. Hey, you're going to have the hand fighting. That's part of playing, and I'm glad to see that they're not throwing these flags. It's so many times it's how does the officiating crew see it that day?
Right.
Are they going to throw? Are they going to let them hand fight? I like the idea of letting them get in there and get a little bit physical.
Yeah.
Let them go both ways. But if you're a defensive coordinator, you're hoping that they're a little bit quick on the trigger and flag happy when you're playing NC State, because your guys, no matter who they are, there's a good chance they're going to lose when it comes to being just a little bit more physical and tougher than these big wide receivers.
Hey, look, if you're Jim Reed, in some ways, you kind of got to pick your poison, don't you? I mean, Myers, Harmon, Angeline.
And that's why I was saying you absolutely have to negate the threat of the run, and they haven't been able to do that here in this first half at all. Showing blitz here. Here they come.
Finley shoots it down the field, and almost an unbelievable catch again. That was Harmon working in the secondary.
Again, they go right back at Elijah Jones.
Yep.
And Elijah Jones isn't on our 2 deep.
No, he's not.
And, there might be an injury of sorts. And, again, he's there, but you've got to be more than there, and there can be no space, absolutely no space, because they're going to let him bang. They're going to let him use those hands to try to separate. Again, it was good timing. And Harmon unable to pull that one in. 4th down. BC has to get off the field here. They've got to get a stop.
Finley looks. Harmon again, a catch. And that's Jones in coverage that time as well. And that time Finley to Harmon converts it.
And they'll keep going back to it. I mean, keep going back to it until they show you they can stop it, or until they move somebody out there to help, and then you just hit them with the 1-2. You let the backs run free. I mean, there it is, right in front of us. You're able to throw the ball. Show us you're going to stop the throw, and we'll just run it at you.
Another pressure package here from BC. Finley dances right, and will throw Harmon inside the 10. Toe taps out of bounds at the 7. 8-yard line, 1st and goal.
Well, they bring a blitzer through on the ground, unable to even phase Finley.
And you got Big Harmon just setting up shop in between that zone, and it looked a little bit like Jones might have been lost on that one. Not deep enough into that drop, and an easy throw.
Gallaspy with 50 seconds to go in the first half on 1st and goal, cracks the 5. And now another Wolfpack timeout with 46 seconds left. That's their final timeout, James, of this first half.
Got to get Reggie some of that two-sided carpet tape. That's what we used to wear. You put them underneath your jersey, and that way the jersey sticks on the pad. We've seen so many times him being pulled down by people just grabbing his jersey.
Yeah.
It may or may not have been illegal, but, you know.
Sounds
That's
like
what I did. And I learned that from being around my dad with the Cleveland Browns. Here is that running game, and it hasn't just been Gallaspy, but it's been Ricky Person. Sticky Ricky doing it, too, the freshman. There's that big block once again by Big Joe down the field. Yeah, this offensive line has had fun here in the first half today.
I think we probably need to tell the crew to rack up the Joe Sculthorpe downfield block as a potential Batesy at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, never too early to think about the Batesy's.
But if you go back and look at this, there's a whole bunch of that going on with this offensive line here today. Making life pretty easy for Ryan Finley, Reggie Gallaspy, and Ricky Person.
Finley, 2nd and goal. Quick throw, Myers, touchdown.
Well, Jim Reed, he brings the house. But if you bring the house, you better get there, and you better get there now with this quick throw game. That's just, they're unable to cover the secondary, unable to cover these big guys here today. And Myers now 9 catches, 83 yards, and oh, by the way, first time in the paint here in 2018 for Jacoby.
Done, the point after. And with 43 seconds left in this first half, it's an 18-point lead for NC State. Well, the ball just comes out of his hand lightning fast, doesn't it?
And he has so much poise. Now he threw the 2 interceptions earlier, but it's almost a little bit too comfortable, too calm. But he's just so he doesn't seem to get rattled at all.
Well, we're going to take our road show to the Northeast. And, of course, Clemson, NC State in 2 weeks. Both will be coming off byes. And then that November date with the Eagles at Alumni Stadium. Syracuse, by the way, at Pittsburgh today and trailing. There's Walker, and he will touch a knee. So 25-yard line will be where Boston College gets started. By the way, James, of note, 3 first-half turnovers for NC State. No points have been allowed by the Wolfpack defense, including one that gave them short yardage.
Well, I want to go back to real quick.
I'm sorry,
NC
3 points. 3 points off
the field goal,
yeah,
right?
Field goal.
The NC State at Clemson in 2 weeks, and that to me, I miss that right there more than anything. And what I mean is going in, you and your buddies, into enemy territory in a huge game, and it feels like you against the world. I just love the thought of that. And they'll have 2 weeks to prepare.
BC has 3 timeouts and a drop there by Glines. So it'll be second down. Clock stops with 40 seconds to play here in this first half. A little bit of both sides of the ball for BC to address at the break, James.
Well, without a doubt, and you've seen flashes that this is a better BC football team, but the better of the two teams in this first half has definitely been NC State.
Brown, the deep shot for Smith, and he can't hang on. Tanner Engel was back there defensively for the Wolfpack.
Tanner Engel, no gloves, no wristbands, no tape. It's like those batters, no batting gloves. Just get up and grip that stick, and you know, got a little bit of help there. He's playing catch-up, and again, one that they really need to connect on, those deep shots they keep taking.
Glines will push it across the 30. Aleem McNeil has been in on a couple stops in this first half. And Boston College does not have to punt it if they don't want to. Play clock has yet to wind, and the first half clock can tick away. In fact, I think Boston College is going to do just that. Steve Adazio takes the headset off, and his team will go to the locker room. So will Dave Doran. NC State turns it over 3 times, but the Wolfpack gets 2 Reggie Gallaspy touchdown runs, James, and a moment ago a Ryan Finley to Jacoby Myers pass and catch. 21-3 for the number 23 team in the country. In time for our Honda Dealers of the Carolinas Coach's Corner with Rebecca and Dave Doran.
Thank you very much, Coach. Able to close out this first half with another touchdown. How important was that, especially after those 3 early turnovers?
That's huge. Our defense has been great all day, getting the ball back. They've been put in some tough situations. We got to take care of the ball and finish drives to get in the end zone. That was awesome to get a touchdown because we get the ball first here in the third quarter. So if we can just take care of the football in the second half, we got a good shot.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Rebecca, thanks. 21-3. NC State the lead at the break for half number 2, and Boston College will kick it away to the Wolfpack. He's trowel deep, and he'll have a chance. Trowel 20, 26-yard line, and that's where NC State will start. And in the first half, great balance, James.
Whoa, great power. Look at the guys in the red shirts firing off that ball down at the goal line. Gallaspy with his 2 scores. And Ricky Person, the freshman, getting involved in a big way in the middle of the field as well. And that opens things up for a team that you definitely don't want to open it up anymore for. Ryan Finley and all of his weapons. Finley, 16 of 21. In the first half, but those 2 interceptions, you know, you'd think at halftime, Boston College, they need to get some turnovers to get back into this game, but they had 3 in the first half and only 3 points to show.
Here's Person starting the second half at the running back spot, and he'll have a first down. 11-yard run, 12 to the 38 before Richardson makes the stop on Ricky Person Jr.
Again, watch those big athletes up front. Everybody a body on a body clearing the way. That stretch play has worked all day long, and like we talked about at halftime, it's what are you going to do? You're going to bring an extra body in now to defend that run, stop that run. They'll get you like they did the entire first half out on the perimeter with those big bad receivers.
Here's Person going to work again, and he'll drive it to midfield. Mike Palmer the stop. That's 12 more yards.
For those of you that watched the Georgia Tech Louisville game last night, it's almost the same feeling right now. It's like, what in the world can we do to shut this down? Everything seems to be working for them. You go left side, you go right side. It's the same play, just back to the right side. Hey, keep running it until they decide that they can stop it.
One more time, and not much there. Yard to the 49, but in BC territory. Blitzer, who had the interception, made the stop.
Well, Ricky Person against Virginia with 14 carries, averaged almost 8 yards per carry. And that's got to be fun for these guys up front. Bradbury, the graduate from Charlotte, big 65, the senior, him and all those other big offensive linemen.
Finley to throw, and off the hands of Emezi. who was slanting in from the left against Hamp Cheevers. So now 3rd and long for NC State, and it takes us to our bad boy mowers covering ground, and let's profile this graduate quarterback from Phoenix, Arizona, Ryan Finley, James, and here are the details.
Yeah, there you go with those 16 passes. And there's the touchdown, but also the 2 interceptions there on those short throws. And 5 of 6 in medium range, and even the big hitters have worked for them. That's one thing that hasn't worked for BC. They've had a couple of guys running open. Anthony Brown unable to connect. So here's a 3rd down and long. The backers walked up, but they'll delay.
Quick throw, Harmon trying to work for the first. He'll have it. To the 37 goes Kelvin Harmon against Lucas Dennis. 22 first downs now in the ball game for NC State.
Well, and one thing we didn't show you there on that, the stats at halftime are on that chart. 0 sacks still for a guy who's only been sacked twice. When he does have a little bit of pressure, he'll get outside and break contain, stands in there cool and calm, and he has a plethora of targets to spread it around to. Just pitch it and catch it.
3 to the wide for NC State now. Gallaspy. And a couple yards. Well, 2nd and 8 coming up, Rebecca.
Well, guys, Ryan Finley said this week good teams have good depth, and that is really starting to describe this Wolfpack offense. I mean, Finley has a zillion receivers to try and connect with, and he says it doesn't matter who's coming in and out of this game. He feels confident with every single one of them.
Well, Stephon Lewis is coming into the ball game. We've seen him just on a couple of rotations here through the line.
Eli Drinkwitz, he has some toys. He has a lot of toys in his toy box, doesn't he?
Yeah. No question.
He's doing a good job of sharing those toys with everybody out on the field.
Here's Harmon, another catch. This is at the 30, and boy, nice play by Dennis that time to wrestle the big receiver from Palmyra, New Jersey, out of bounds at the 30. 6 catches now for Harmon. Myers was 9 in the first half. Finley is an equal opportunity guy, isn't he? I mean,
you know, it's funny. It's very businesslike, not just with Finley, but with these receivers as well. You know, you try to, what's the mentality like? You guys have a good time in that meeting room, and it's all competition. It's all, hey, there's a guy behind me wanting my job. Got to be careful of the quarterback run here with him spread out like this.
Cuts it loose, and this is Lewis, and that'll be a first down. To the 26, 25-yard line for the Wolfpack. Strahan and Palmer on the stop.
Again, protection's there, plenty of time, the timing route, and then the last lunge there. Again, another big guy. We talked about Harmon, big and strong. We talked about Emezi, big and strong. Myers. Here's Steph Lewis, who's 6'2", about 220 pounds. Going to power his way for an extra yard to make sure those chains move. And here, the opening drive of the second half, NC State picking up right where they left off before going into the halftime locker room.
9th play of the drive is a hand to Gallaspy, and boy, he runs right into it. John Lamont, back in his home state, a native of Graham, North Carolina, bangs on Gallaspy for no gain.
Well, Lamont's been big for Jim Reed, the defensive coordinator here. The last couple years. Strahan, when he got injured last year, we talked about Jones earlier too. A couple guys that they really had to lean on last year to come in.
Wow. Finley will keep it. Around the corner, Ryan Finley toward a first down. Going to be about a yard shy. And Finley shaken up on the play. Now, he wears a knee brace along that left knee, so I don't know when he hit the ground if the brace rolled or shifted on him. He wears a fairly cumbersome brace there. Some of those guys wear it for protection, James.
Well, here's another look at the end of the play. Again, the extra effort. Here's your star. Here's a guy who had a chance to go and be a high draft pick. Came back, and he's going to be one of the highest draft picks. And he's head first. Head first. You know, that's where you can get banged up a little bit, and it's not what caused this injury. But let's hope he's okay as Matthew McKay's now coming in.
Yeah, Finley seems to be walking a lot better, but Matthew McKay will come in, redshirt freshman from Wakefield High School here in Raleigh. McKay, talented player at the prep level here in the capital area. Kerry Angeline and Dylan Autenreith both in the package for NC State to the left side. Quite a spot for McKay, James. 3rd and 1 on the opening drive of the second half. Gallaspy. And he will be close to the first down. It'll depend. If he broke the plane of the 16, he'll have it. And here comes Finley back, by the way. And they're going to spot and now award the first down to NC State.
That's all you need. Gallaspy a couple times, banging on the goal line, knocking it in for touchdowns. And here he bangs it just enough to move those chains. And Finley, you knew he was all right when he went backpedaling into the game.
Here they are in the CPI security red zone. 1st and 10 for NC State. That's Thomas in motion. Finley, quick throw, Lewis the catch, and a big lick from Richardson. Inside the 10 at the 9. 7-yard catch, but he paid the price.
Well, he certainly did. Here he is up top. He's going to break it off and come underneath, and there's...
Boy, that was close.
Big lick. It's something they might go upstairs and take a look at to see if it's targeting or not. No, I guess not. I thought they were holding him for the replay. Lucas Dennis on this defense was ejected for targeting last week.
Here you go, James.
And there it is.
That's referee Riley Johnson. And I think this has to do with the hit by Richardson.
Well, without a doubt. That's... You know, he's definitely defenseless, and it's definitely helmet to helmet, and this is already a banged up secondary, and you know, I just as an announcer, as a guy that grew up with a dad as a defensive coordinator and playing linebacker, I just time and time again I just have to remind myself that football's changed, and it's changed for the better when you look at the health of these young players, but the rule is that's targeting, and the rule is Richardson will be done not only for this half, but the first half of next week.
Yeah, against Louisville, right?
Yep, and what's going on upstairs is the replay booth. They saw it. It wasn't called on the field, so it won't be a penalty. But there's a good chance that there will be an ejection by a young dynamic leader in Max Richardson.
Mm-hmm. Came into the ball game with 21 tackles, 3 of them for loss. By the way, since Ryan Finley's second interception to Bletzer, James, he's now 11 of 13 for 114. That's it's pretty solid efficiency. And here is Riley Johnson to tell us the verdict.
After reviewing the play, there was a personal foul targeting by number 14 of the defense. The penalty is half the distance to the goal line. Automatic first down, and number 14 is disqualified.
Well, Adazio saw his safety Lucas Dennis, the senior leader, jog off in the first half last week against Temple. And there's one more look at it. And I had it backwards, I beg your pardon. They can't take away a penalty flag, but they will add the penalty on here, and it's tough. I mean, we've already seen there for this secondary, we've seen Elijah Jones playing a lot. He's not even on our 2 deep. They've been banged up. They're trying to keep Taj Amir Torres healthy. He's playing with an injured shoulder.
13th play of the drive. Person. And he'll be taken down behind the line. Isaiah McDuffie, a tackle for loss. Ricky Person playing in just his 3rd ball game. Kind of burst onto the scene last week, 108 yards on 14 carries against Virginia. Still looking for his first collegiate touchdown, though.
And how exciting. You talk about all these seniors, these upperclassmen along the offensive line in Finley, but 65% of the points scored by this offense coming into this game have been from guys who had never scored before prior to this season.
Yep.
Youngsters like Person, who's a freshman.
Here's Person circling and in trouble. Wyatt Ray and Connor Strahan all the way back at the 10. Well, we said at the top, these are two good red zone defenses, James, and we've seen it today.
Dave Doran, they get mad when they let him down there close, and they get extra mad. Here. Oh, look at, there he goes, Strahan, good angle. Going to go run him down. Actually, he got a little bit of help from his buddy Zach Allen. Taking a little bit of a chance on the angle that he chose, but he flattens out. With some help from his friends, those vice angles all come into play, and he drops him, forcing a 3rd down and goal from the 10. Whoop.
Tight end to the left. That's Angeline. Finley. Catch is made, and out of bounds is Harmon at the 2. Lucas Dennis on the coverage. NC State going for this, or they'll try the field goal?
Well, they're sending out the field goal unit. Gosh, that's a tough call when you want to keep feeding those big boys. You know, the offensive line, there's nothing that would make them happier to say, hey, let's go for it, and to punch it in right there. The opening drive. And look at this. Boston College hasn't had the ball yet.
Yeah.
In the second half. You talk about a drive.
9 minutes off the clock. And it's blocked. And it was blocked by Kevin Bletzer. Snuck right in there and blocked it. So State is turned away. They chew up a bunch of clock, but it's still a 21-3 game. Good to see you got out of there unscathed last night.
That was awesome. That was really nice. Jeff and his wife, Kara. It's funny, you'd think watching that Butch Wilson would bringing those flowers that he was giving them to our hosts, but he actually just carries flowers everywhere he goes. It's really kind of odd. Well. that was wonderful, though. That was really cool.
Yep.
Bonding.
Well, team bill of fare, nicely done. BC's first possession after the block field goal from Bletzer, and the Eagles have gotten about 3 yards in 2 running plays.
Well, it's, again, 3 turnovers. What are you going to do with it? 3 points. You get a blocked field goal after that big drive. Hey, a little bit of life. What are you going to do with it? Well, what are you going to do? You're going to get your first 3rd down conversion of the day? You better come correct, because this defense has its ears pinned back right now, and they're hunting.
Brown looking to throw, flag thrown and dropped by Jeff Smith.
Yeah.
It's a hold?
Without a doubt. And I couldn't get a number, but the defensive end absolutely annihilates the offensive lineman, runs right over him, and all he can do is just pull him down with him.
NC State's going to decline this.
Offense number 64. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
3 and out, James.
Well, here you go up top. And what's that number they're rushing here?
That's Smith Williams, 39.
Yeah, Smith Williams over Ben Petrula, who's a pretty good offensive lineman. He just goes right down his throat. And that's all you can do, is just hang on for dear life. So that's the right call, and that's a great big stop after your offense has owned the 3rd quarter by NC State.
End over end kick, Thayer Thomas. Fair catch at the 40, 36-yard punt from Carlson. And that'll get us to a football and get you ready for some big Week 7 games. We're looking forward to being in Boston next Saturday for these Eagles and the Louisville Cardinals.
NC State 2nd possession off its 40. Brady Bodine, one of the really good stories of this ACC season. Grad student from Camp Lejeune, behind Finley in the pistol. And Bodine will get the carry. Breaking free, hard run.
Almost 10 on 1st down. In fact, he did get 10. Amp Cheevers the tackle of Brady Bodine. whose dad is Lieutenant Colonel Wayne Bodine and has been deployed for much of Brady's football career here in Raleigh. James?
We'll make that the 1, 2, 3. Not just Gallaspy in person, but it's Bo time now.
Sure is. We saw him get the long touchdown run against Georgia State in our Week 2 coverage here in Raleigh.
And boy, did the bench get excited for their man. They're fired up for Brady, hard worker.
And Zach Allen leads the tacklers for BC there on first down. So second and almost the full 10. Allen was shaken up earlier, came back with that wrap around his, you see the right tricep wrap that he's got there, and I'm going to guess that's somehow alleviating the pressure that he's got in that shoulder, James. As much as he can today, at least.
Right.
The wear and tear of the season, though, is starting to settle in on everybody, but especially these Eagles on defense, it looks like. Davon Jones left. We have not seen him since. Here's Finley. Quick throw. Myers into double figures on his 10th catch. And Jacoby Myers to the 33 of Boston College. 17-yard throw. Tajamir Torres on the stop.
Can't say enough about the protection up front, the wall that they build. And speaking of walls, when you've got the big bodies at receiver, when they run those routes and they have inside leverage, it must feel like a big wall that you're trying to fight through if you're a defender. Running with the route, but you've got the big old body walling you off, and easy throw and catch.
Lobbing for Harmon. Caught it. Touchdown.
Again, plenty of time. Nobody for Bo to even block. And then one-on-one, it's Lucas Dennis, a little bit of help late over the top. But Lucas Dennis is 5'11", 185. Kelvin Harmon is 6'3", 215 pounds. And he's going to win that battle time and time again, as we have seen it today. Time and time again.
Kelvin Harmon.
Different result this time for the offense of NC State, and made a big deal about Harmon and the separation and the catch. But how about the throw? What a beautifully thrown football by Ryan Finley, dropping it right in there where it had to be. Make it 28-3.
Bambart's kick toward Michael Walker. He'll play from the far side. And Walker now very dangerous out toward the 40. Rolled over at the 38. That's where Boston College will get started. And, of course, 2 weeks from today, Dave Doran puts NC State on our Logan's Roadhouse road schedule at number 4 Clemson, who is in Winston-Salem this afternoon. And then a week after that, James, the Carrier Dome in Central New York to meet the Orange, who are in a weather delay with Pittsburgh right now at Heinz Field, by the way.
And Pittsburgh was all over them, which was surprising. They've got to get out of town because of the state fair across the street, too.
Yeah. BC from its 38. Brown. And the catch made on the backside, and that's Kobe White, redshirt sophomore. Third catch. And of course, when you talk about the Tigers, good news for Dabo Sweeney, and that's the Cartersville, Georgia freshman Trevor Lawrence. Goes back under center this afternoon against the Deacons.
Well, that's good to see. That got interesting in a hurry last weekend during our game when that went down. So
Travis Levy going to pick up the first down, and that is just the 5th first down of the day for Boston College. NC State's got 28 of them. Tough day at the office for Anthony Brown so far. Brown, quick throw, and beyond the reach of Chris Garrison, the redshirt junior tight end.
Well, tough day at the office, and you got to think for guys like Trevor Lawrence, for the rest, Eric Dungy down the road, for the rest of these teams, it's only going to get tougher and tougher for opposing head coaches, their offenses, to come in and to face this defense because they're playing better every single time out.
Yep. Brown on the keeper off the read. Anthony Brown inside the 25 and hauled down at the 21. Kid Glass saves the touchdown.
Well, It's a nice zone read, and it's an excellent job with the block to seal that corner by Petrula. Earlier, we were picking on him a little bit, but this time he gets Shug Frazier down there knocking right outside the red zone. You know, it's an offense that wants to go that fast pace, but they've been thrown out of that even.
Here's Glines, and Ben Glines gets the Boston College touchdown on a 21-yard run. And BC answers right back, James.
21-yard run for the touchdown.
Nice answer by Dazio's team.
Without a doubt, and the physicality comes back with the offensive line. We all know those big guys for Steve Dazio can get up and move and can seal that wall as well. And there you see a great job. Sam Schmall on the next level, sealing that linebacker, and then it's Glines off to the races untouched.
Lichtenberg's point after.
Point after is good.
New score in Raleigh with 93 seconds to play in the third. NC State 28, and now Boston College 10. You got to keep on keeping on now if you're NC State, because BC just had an answer in 5 plays on the Glines touchdown run, and for Ben Glines, his second score. Time for this week's Aflac trivia question. James?
Bring them out, bring them out. Bring them out, bring them out. Aflac! There you go.
What player holds the ACC record for most rushing yards in a single game? Ooh.
Here's your hint.
Trying to give it away right away, aren't you?
I don't know. You know, if you're not one of those fans, you may not know what that song is.
Here's the kick, and no return for Trowell. State will play from its 25. Well, it happened in a game between these two schools 5 years ago. There's our answer. Andre Williams. November 16, 2013, on a cold day at Chestnut Hill. And Andre Williams, who was later a high draft pick of the New York Giants. 42 carries, 339 yards. And I mean, you see, there was a lot of contact. He might have 300 broken tackles.
Big and strong and very fast, too.
Finley off the hands and not intercepted. Boy, almost a 6-4-3 double dip on a ball intended for Riley. Deflected on the hands of Dennis, and then Palmer almost had a chance. Watch this.
Well, and here,
6.
First things first, could have should have been a catch. And
3.
Wow.
The hat trick.
Oh, hustling over there. Breaking on that football, even if you're not the guy on coverage. And Mike Palmer almost pulls it in. So it would have been interception number 3 of the day for Finley. They go back to the ground.
Look at this. Here comes Gallaspy. First down. James, you hit this in the first half. Ricky Persons made Reggie Gallaspy a better football player.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. We came here against Georgia State, and it's like, gosh, what are they going to have run game wise?
Yeah.
You know, it's freshmen, we didn't know a heck of a lot about. You got Penix back there too, and we got Bodine that ran late, but it's going to be the Gallaspy show. Well, it's definitely not the Hines show anymore. But you know what? If these two continue to feed off of each other like that and continue to compete and rest one another, they may be all right.
False start. Offense, number 70. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Prescott, the left guard, first penalty of the day against Dave Dorn's team.
Well, the last 2 times these teams got together, or the last time rather, I think there are only about 3 or 4 penalties total. So it's just, they let them bang a little bit.
So it'll be First down 15 now, back at the 35.
Wes, like you were saying, it's so healthy and it's so good for a football team. You've got guys that go out there and feel like they've got to compete to keep their job every single time of practice and in games.
Here's Person on the cutback, driving it beyond midfield, first down. Will Harris finally is able to wrestle down Ricky Person Jr.
Folks here in Raleigh insist that number 20 is not 100%. Was banged up. He's got a groin and a hip injury. He's looking pretty fresh right now, though. Well,
Ryan Finley's thrown 34 yards to Kelvin Harmon. Ben Glines has scored from 21 yards out. 28-10, NC State in the
total yards number for BC of 171. 62 came on that last drive. Ooh. Time of possession. How about that? That looks like some Georgia Tech numbers. Talking ACC football.
Yep, almost 18 full minutes. Ricky Person in the backfield. First and 10 midfield for NC State, trying to get to 5-0 for the first time in 16 years. Here is Person. 5 more for the Pack.
Number 20, Ricky Person in the ball carrier.
And run that zone. They just guys getting. I mean, this is throwback ball right here. This is just offensive line working together in unison, firing off that ball, winning the battle up front, in a back that can get downhill and has good vision. And it just, I mean, it shows you how natural it is for a really good running back. It's not something that you teach. He's just a freshman. It's just very natural. Bend it back. There's a nice pickup. I mean, it's 5 yards on first down. You'll take that all day long, get a defense on their heels.
Brady Bodine, the ball carrier. And he will be close. Isaiah McDuffie, another tackle. We're seeing a lot of rotation among those linebackers. We saw a lot of Davon Jones before he was injured. But now we're seeing Lamont, McDuffie, Bletzer. Richardson was ejected. Remember, they lost Richardson to the ejection, Jones to the injury, so they're down to Strahan, Lamont, McDuffie, and Bletzer, James.
And there Torres has been banged up, the cornerback.
There's Connor Strahan, over 200 career tackles. 3rd and short. Quick throw in the flat, and Thayer Thomas working to the perimeter. First down and more. Mike Palmer knocked him out of bounds, but the damage already done for Raleigh's Thayer Thomas.
Well, Eli Drinkwitz said yesterday, they haven't been great in space, tackling in space. Well, here's one way to do it. You got 3rd and very short. They're going to sell out trying to stop that run. There's a one-on-one. Lucas Dennis, step up, give him a little shake, boom. First down and an easy pickup.
Boy, like everything about Thayer Thomas, James.
Well, I mean, the play call.
Yep.
When you got an offensive coordinator has enough trust in his guys, he's willing to go throw it. There's a lot that could go wrong throwing that football out there like that.
Fumble of the ball, and the 4th turnover of the day by NC State. And Ricky Person coughed it up on first down. And the ball will go over to the Eagles as Will Harris recovers.
Handoff seems to be just fine. And, it's one thing. When you're going through traffic like that, you got to keep both hands on the ball. You get out in the open, you get it in that outside hand, and it's off to the races. But while you're still in traffic, that's one way to get in the doghouse as a young runner.
Yep.
Put the ball on the ground. That's the last thing that Ricky Person wanted to happen, but that's exactly what Boston College needed. Watch the big shot, sudden change. Do they go up top here, try to get one of those big hitters that they missed on in the first half?
Brown from the pocket, looking, caught, wide open, Michael Walker. Walker down to the 19. Tanner Engel, the touchdown-saving tackle for NC State.
And they do just that. Double move. And it's got to have some time. You got to have some protection. Brown does. He throws it behind Walker. It's still, they get the big hit. And they get him on their heels on the sudden change.
Glines fights for yardage. Down to the 14. Rebecca and Boston College looking to get a little sudden change score here.
Absolutely. And you can just sense there's a renewed energy from this team after scoring their first touchdown of the game a few minutes ago. The guys doing a lot of talking on the sidelines, getting each other fired up. They just needed to get their offense on the field, so this is their chance.
Brown to the gun. Walker to the boundary. 2 receivers to the top. Brown looking that way. Now back across and threw it behind Walker, the intended receiver. Chris Ingram, the corner, had followed him across, and coverage for State. 3 minutes and change gone here in the 4th, and all of a sudden, James, little tempo, even though it's an 18-point lead for the Wolfpack.
4th quarter of this football game, 0 third down conversions. Wouldn't this be a big one right here? They've got to get to the 8-yard line for a fresh set of downs.
Busted play. Brown tries to get to the edge, and Pratt through the air takes him down at the 11, and Steve Adazio will go for it here.
How about big 3, bringing the hammer down? Absolutely, guys, not on the same page. You're not going to sell anyone anyway. You know, if it was a zone read and he's trying to get outside, you're not going to get Pratt to freeze up. He's a beeline. Play of the game right here.
Brown out of the flat here is Glines again. Touchdown, Boston College. So Ben Glines has got his 2nd touchdown of the day. This one on a pass of 11 yards.
Adazio wants to go for 2 here, make it a 10-point game. You see all these bodies over here, and they slip out Glines. There's nobody left to cover him. And you got to think Isaiah Moore, just a freshman with a mix-up. And what a costly error there on 4th down. Still haven't converted on 3rd, but they'll take the 4th down. They were stuffed, remember, on the opening drive to set the tone on a 4th down try. So 1 for 2. Can they get the 2 here and make it a 10-point 2-score game?
Almost 4 minutes gone. 2-point try. And beyond the reach of Travis Levy. So it is a 12-point game. 11-10 to play in Raleigh. And after a struggle all day, Boston College has put together 2 5-play. James was Ben Glines on this TD run a moment ago. And it got BC their first touchdown of the day. And then Ricky Person, when it looked like State was building a threat, fumbled the ball. 5 plays later, Brown, well, he throws the ball here to Michael Walker, and that set up another throw of 11 yards again to Ben Glines. But here's the bottom line. 4 NC State turnovers today and a blocked field goal by Boston College of a Wolfpack try, and they've only got 9 points.
Well, and you know, and Anthony Brown, you even saw on the double move on the big play there. He's been a little bit off today. He's got to be crisp here down this stretch if they want to have a chance to come charging back. But first things first, something's got to happen, and they've got to stop Dave Doran's offense, because they really haven't been able to. It's without the turnovers, they really haven't been able to here today.
475 yards for the Wolfpack today. 278 for Ryan Finley on 23 of 30. 2 touchdown passes, 1 to Harmon, another one to Myers, as James told you, his first scoring catch of the year. And boy, we've seen a nice combination in the run game, haven't we? With Reggie Gallaspy and Ricky Person, and at times the redshirt Brady Bodine. Play fake Finley on first down. Cuts it loose. There's Harmon. And broken up by Palmer coming across the top. Well, nicely done by Mike Palmer.
Absolutely breaking on that ball. Finley's going to take a shot as he lets go of it. And there's 2 guys trying to go up and high point the ball. You still see who kind of wins that battle up in the air, the big body of Harmon. And nice job by Palmer to time it up and break it up as well. 2nd down and 10 now.
Cutting near side, Gallaspy. And Palmer again will make the tackle. Or no, is that Strahan? It is Connor Strahan who makes the stop for Boston College on Reggie Gallaspy.
Jerome Prescott drove his guy in front of him back about 10 yards to help out there. He's over on that side of the line with Tyler Jones. Tyler Jones, by the way, in his 31st start. These big guys for Gallaspy and company to run behind. Can they do it here on 3rd and very short?
Inside 10.5 to go. That's Autenreith in motion, and boy, can't get it there. Boston College has been sturdy, James. Ironically, in the big jumbo sets from NC State, when they've spread BC out, it's been a little more rewarding, as Eli Drinkwitz was talking to us yesterday. Here, not so much, though.
Well, that's why you saw the last 3rd and short. They go with the little swing out to Thayer. When you get everybody bunched in there, and this is the right call here on 4th down, you absolutely have to punt it away. But for the most part, BC has not been able to move the football on your defense.
First punt of the day for A.J. Cole III, a senior from College Park, Georgia. He's just going to try and flip this over at Michael Walker, who fair catches and does so right around the 20. 48-yard punt, Steve Adazio and the Eagles trail a dozen. 12-point lead for NC State. You see the details, 9:39 to go, and here's the summary from Boston College today. No turnovers. They're +4 takeaway giveaway, James, but boy, it's been hard. Been an all-dayer.
You know, and here it is right here. It's, you know, there's still plenty of time for 2 scores, but this right here is the dogfight. This right here is the physical contest of who wants it more right now. A defense that's played great.
Brown for Smith. Jeff Smith the catch to the 45 of the Wolfpack ahead of Jarius Moorhead.
Smith banged up last week. Looks like he's injured a little bit here off the field, but the damage is done to NC State. And finally, when you need him, for Eagle fans, right on the money from Anthony Brown. Huge pickup.
35-yard catch. Approaching 9 minutes to go. Quick hit inside, and the catch made by Garrison. 6'3", 245-pound redshirt junior, Goffstown, New Hampshire.
And they're back to the hurry-up, back where they feel more comfortable, this offense.
Glines trying to get to the edge. And that'll be Dexter Wright that shoves him out of bounds. But it's enough for the first down to the 28. Well, Glines runs with an attitude, doesn't he?
Well, he certainly does. Greg Toronto, the strength coach, calling him the toughest guy on the team. And he knows tough dudes, the junkyard dogs, those hardest workers in the weight room. Fresh set of downs here.
Straight drop. Brown sacked. Jermaine Pratt is living up to the billing today. ACC's leading tackler. And a loss of 9.
Boy, he's going to come, and he's going to come in a hurry. Anthony Brown, as soon as he sets up shop back there. And look at him, coming that big haymaker, trying to rip that ball away. Brown and the Eagles lucky he was able to hang on to it. Big-time linebacker, number 3, Jermaine Pratt. Second down now and 20.
Kobe White. Pratt's got him. Jermaine Pratt's doing damage today, Rebecca.
Yep, he is that vocal, experienced leader, and defensive coordinator Dave Huxtable saying he's the result of the culture of this coaching staff that they built when they got here. Older guys like Jermaine mentoring the younger guys, and it wasn't the case here when these coaches first arrived.
That's why he's our hearty star to watch today, James.
That's right. He's shutting them down.
Straight drop, Brown. And caught in traffic, Walker. Michael Walker, 1st and 10 at the 13. 21-yard throw, and Anthony Brown put that on a rope.
Well, he did, and he stayed in there for an extra couple beats. This is a couple plays after he'd just been leveled by Pratt on the blitz. Stayed in there strong. Look at the grass on his helmet. Isaiah Moore goes for the big pick, and some more after the catch. And here you're going to go backwards 5 yards.
Ball start.
Ben Petrula with James Smith-Williams lining up across from him. Couldn't hold his water. By the way, that was the first third down conversion of the day for the Eagles on the Walker catch.
That's iffy.
Really? Nope. Right after.
Momentum-wise, though, it's costly.
Yes, it is. Brown again. Sweeney, a diving catch of it at the 5. Tommy Sweeney. First catch of the day for the big tight end, 13 yards.
Tommy Sweeney can do it all. And here, the layup. Wow. Look at the grab and to pull it back in and then to secure it.
First and goal, Glines. And I'm waiting on the whistles to blow, and they're letting them play.
Still no whistle.
And out of there with it. Ball is loose, it looked like. Did Pratt? They came breaking away from the stack. The whistles never blew.
And if the whistles never blew, how do you not give them the football?
Right.
The ruling on the field was a fumble recovered by NC State. First down.
Oh, boy. Inopportune time for BC's first giveaway.
Watch Pratt right here, number 3. He's in the mix, as well as all those other white hats. You even see some punches to the helmets. Still no whistle. Ripping it away. Jermaine Pratt, you saw him after the sack and the big tackle leave the game. It looked like he needed a breather. Caught his breath, and he's right back in there. If there's no whistle, I don't really know what you can review.
Riley Johnson will hop on the headset. I mean, it didn't look like Glines hit the ground, did it, James? But here's this stack. I thought we would get a whistle to stop forward progress.
Look at this.
There was no whistle. And it's just a standing scrum, and here comes Pratt with the ball right there.
You know what's even more impressive? Is he goes in there because his right arm is caught up trying to keep that offensive lineman off of him, trying to keep him at bay. So he's going to rip it away with his left arm.
You always hear coaches say you got to play to the echo of the whistle.
Well, and you know, and those linemen can help out moving that pile.
Here we go. Let's see if we hear a whistle on this. I did after the ball was loose.
Yeah. It's NC State football. I
don't know how you can overturn it.
He's not down. There's nothing else you can do. It's, and it's had that pile continued to move, and it wouldn't have been a touchdown. It crossed the line. It's a touchdown.
So 6:09 to play now, and the first turnover of the day goes to the Wolfpack's Jermaine Pratt, and Steve Adazio's hot. And he probably has a right to be, James.
There's when he first heard the ruling. I mean, it's his team hasn't been able to get anything going here.
Right.
So much of this game, and they're finally going down. They're knocking on the door. They're going to have a chance to make it a one-score game. And then you get something like that.
And straight ahead.
And you know what?
Gallaspy.
I just don't, because here's the way you look at it. It's if the pile continues to move, they eventually cross the goal line, they'll call it a touchdown. And then Dave Doran is upset because, well, you should have blown the whistle because it looked like progress was stopped. Was progress ever stopped? We're watching it there in slow motion, so it's not real time. But maybe a hair late on the whistle, but still, you got to protect that football.
I don't disagree with you. And Jermaine Pratt, you know what? The old coaching adage, play to the end of the whistle, right?
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, how many times have you heard it said in a practice field? Play till you hear the whistle. Gallaspy fights back to the line of scrimmage. What a day for Jermaine Pratt. Look at him. He knows how big this is for the Wolfpack, trying to get to 5-0 for the first time in 16 years. You've got to go back to the days of Phillip Rivers to find the last 5-0 start by the Pack. Now you got Lewis, Amezi, and Harmon to one side. Myers here to the wide side at the left. Big third down for NC State here, James. And really Boston College for that matter.
Yep, BC still with 3 timeouts. NC State as well.
Finley, Harmon to catch, first down. 9 catches today for Kelvin Harmon. Jacoby Myers has 10. I'm going to ask you a question, loaded question at that. When the chips go down and 15's got to make a throw, is it going to 3? Or is he going to 11? Or is he going to Amezi? Or is he going to Lewis?
Yes.
No,
yes,
you got to pick one.
No, yes, he is.
No, that's not the answer.
You know, that's the thing. It doesn't matter who, because he has trust in every single one of them. It's offensively, we talked about it. Eli Drinkwitz, it's a thing of beauty when you've got all these different weapons. And I will say one thing about this football game, and it's this clock ticks down, and it looks like NC State's gonna slip away. Still some football to be played. This has at no point has this ever not been a physical, hard-fought football game. Both of these teams have continued to scrap. No whistle, momentum stop. Looks like they're still moving. No whistle. There's your whistle. And Pratt comes out of it with the football, and Steve Addazio continues to let the officials know that they should have blown it. Felt like they should have blown that whistle and blown the play dead.
Second and short, Gallaspy. And trying to take the stack. Now you should be for sure that Boston College is reaching in there trying to tug it out.
Well, without a doubt. And you know, the whistle has been a little bit of an ongoing theme this season for Addazio's team. At Purdue, they thought they heard a whistle. The defense, there was no whistle. 70-yard pass play is what it turned out to be against the Boilermakers.
Saturday, number 6. We're in Raleigh at Carter Finley Stadium. NC State trying to go to 5-0 and 2-0 in ACC play. Leads Boston College 28-16 with 3:45 to play. James Bates, Rebecca Cable, West Durham. Great to have you with us for our coverage of the 23rd ranked Wolfpack and the Eagles here in the Atlantic Division. This is a battle that leads to a bigger war, if you will, and for NC State to win today, the war would be in 2 weeks at Frank Howard Field.
Well, that's right, and it has been a war here today in this Atlantic Division.
Play fake by Finley. Rounding around, here's Lewis the catch and knocked out of bounds. In fact, incomplete, it'll be ruled. So 4th down coming up, and that'll bring A.J. Cole on to punt for just the second time here this afternoon.
I like the play call, and I also like the way it was defended. That's a heads-up. Good job by the defenders. You know, everybody trying to sell out and stop that run when you got 3rd and short. So they come up with another stop, and there's still plenty of meat on that bone. 3:41. Gonna have to act fast with only 1 timeout remaining.
Cole had it blocked, and Boston College is going to recover it in the end zone with Levy. Travis Levy off the punt block has scored the touchdown that BC needed. With 3:33 to play.
Wow. You kidding me? A team that's already had a field goal attempt block, North Carolina State. The special teams, Steve Addazio told us on the phone this week, he's really pleased with the way his special teams have played. They've had a couple turnovers here and there, but it's kind of one guy's here and there that he needs to improve on. Special teams-wise, it's been a huge thing. The blocked field goal try and now a blocked punt to pull within a touchdown for them.
Lichtenberg, the point after. So Travis Levy recovers the block for the touchdown.
And they brought the house, and with that spread formation, all these different looks that you'll get from these punt teams.
Mike Palmer looks like he blocked the punt, and then Travis Levy the recovery.
Well, how about that roller coaster the last couple minutes for Adazio on that sideline?
Well,
they go from the strip ball by Pratt.
And James, now you've only got the one timeout, so you almost have to onside kick it now if you're Boston College.
Well, you know, I don't know, because the fact that you've had such a tough time stopping this offense makes you think, hey, that maybe we need to.
Can you get it back, though, with just the one timeout? It'd be awfully difficult. I mean, you could burn it now with one timeout. You might get it back with about a minute and a half, maybe minute 20.
Well, and I don't think you have to, but I think I would, because either way, you're going to have to make some big plays. Correct. To make some moves. So do you give it to him on the 25, or do you give it to him at the 45?
Good point.
If the onside kick doesn't work, but you do not have to do it.
Boy, the third phase of the game gets bigger every week, seemingly in college football. Colton Lichtenberg will try now. He's got 5 on either side. Chops at it. And that's Thayer Thomas. How about that? Playing on that second line on the wide side.
Well, Lichtenberg gets the exact hop that he needs. But there's nobody down there for it. Maybe a little bit too much of a line drive. And here's Lichtenberg, a guy who's been shelved for a while. Gets that nice hop, but, well, maybe even a chance if guys were turned around. So, but the good hands guy, the tough guy in Thayer, put it back in the hands of NC State. They're going to have it at midfield right now. And again, they have to get a stop. They've got that one timeout. They have to get a stop here.
Ryan
Can't let them have first down.
Play clock starts, and Ryan Finley with 3.5 to play. As Reggie Gallaspy at the running back spot. We have not seen Ricky Person since the fumble, and that was now 3 possessions ago. This is Gallaspy. And he'll get 3, maybe 4 to the right side. McDuffie the tackle. Boston College playing without Davon Jones, injured in the first half. Max Richardson ejected for targeting in the second half, so only 4 linebackers to fill 3 spots for Steve Adazio. Well, we're going to see these Eagles back at home at Alumni Stadium next Saturday afternoon. We look forward to being in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts at 12:30. Also very interested to see what kind of gut check Louisville's taking, James, after 3 straight losses. Virginia, Florida State, and then last night, Georgia Tech ran like they were across the street at Churchill Downs, didn't they? And now we'll get the Cards and the Eagles. More action from the Atlantic Division next Saturday at 12:30 on your regional sports network. And we have seen it took a while to get to the game we thought we'd get, James, because NC State had such a fast start, both offensively and defensively today.
Well, and you know, hats off to Dave Doran and his football team. The way they took Steve Adazio's team just out of their groove. Offensively, they couldn't go tempo. They couldn't kind of do what they wanted to do. Anthony Brown missed a couple throws. But also credit Steve Adazio's bunch for hanging around, not folding up the tent, thinking, man, this is too tough of a day. We're going to have to call it a loss and get out of here.
BC out of timeouts. Gallaspy close to the first down. And actually for the Wolfpack, that's not a bad play to leave yourself with 3rd and short, because the clock will run. And now they're going to stop it with 3:13 to play to measure, I believe. Although I thought from up top here that Gallaspy was short.
BC with no more timeouts.
Right.
Got it? What is it?
Yes, first down.
That'll do it. Watch these big bodies up front. You want a player of the game. And it's not just the guys. They're on that offensive line. Ottenruth, the tight end, in there as well.
Yeah, there's Dylan, who played at North Paulding High School, by the way, for Scott Jones, and they're called the Wolfpack outside of Atlanta. So he went from one set of Wolfpack to another. Here's Gallaspy, first down, and BC trying to rip at it. Mike Palmer, the first guy there. Clock continues to roll toward 2.5. And Reggie Gallaspy over 100 yards in time for today's Toyota Let's Go Places. And this is a little bit like what we did last week in Atlanta, James. We're checking out people's neighborhoods. And this is Dave Dorn's neighborhood.
Okay.
This is why it's called the Big Four, if you will, in North Carolina. Duke just 22 miles away. Carolina a couple tenths more. Wake Forest, who's got number 4 Clemson at BB&T Field today, just over 100.
The Research Square. We got all 4, right?
It's a Research Triangle.
Oh, it's a triangle.
Yes, Research Triangle is Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill.
No, it's way off.
Those are notices. That kind of stuff right there gets you in trouble.
I didn't know that one.
Well, and the issue, the reason it's so prominent to NC State is the good recruiting that Dave Dorn has done here. Look at that. 38 of the 84 guys on scholarship are from the state of North Carolina. And the recruiting analysts tell us that they're having another outstanding recruiting class headed to this December and on into February of 19.
Well, there's a lot around here to be excited about.
Yeah.
Facilities, the energy, and you look at this in the depth. You've got the older guys that have a lot to do with this, but the young guys are contributing so much, and there's just a nice excitement with this whole Wolfpack team.
So NC State burns a quick timeout. So now with 67 seconds left, or 77 seconds left, NC State will take the break. So they get a bye. Clemson will get a bye after the game today in Winston-Salem, James, before the game in 2 weeks at Memorial Stadium and Frank Howard Field.
The game. I mean, that is... I can't wait to watch that. It's, and you know what else is good if you're a Wolfpack fan? As we take a look at those postal standings.
Virginia Tech tonight against Notre Dame, and Miami gets Florida State later today.
But you know what's good about this win here today for Wolfpack fans is had they gone and blown out, not had some sloppiness here and there and won this game 42-3, 42-10. You got 2 weeks to think about how good you are. There's a lot to work on still and clean up.
Catch by Lewis, and Steph Lewis stays in bounds. Nope, measured out at the 12. Made a tremendous catch and spin, and with 1:08 to go, NC State can go to 5-0 for the first time in 16 years after the 21-yard catch.
Again, the bodies are coming. They're bringing more bodies, blitzing, but the protection was just immaculate. What a great job by the offensive front, protecting Finley today and opening the holes for those running backs.
Going to take 2 more snaps for the Wolfpack. Actually, just 1 more snap, and then that'll be it. Dave Doran, Steve Adazio are going to be really disappointed. His team's slow start today, James, really both sides, and by the time they were the beneficiary of 4 turnovers and 2 plays in the special teams, and yet they're going to lose their first league game and their second on the season.
Yeah, it's a tough one. 2 guys have a lot of respect for one another right there. Dave Dorn and Steve Adazio in a hard-fought game. 2 teams that played exactly like their coaches wanted them to from a toughness and intensity standpoint.
Yep, both in year 6, James. They've done a nice job building their programs.
And a heck of a win for Ryan Finley.
Yep.
In this Wolfpack football team.
Finley goes over 300 yards for the 14th time in his career. NC State 5-0, 2-0 in the ACC. 5-point winners in Raleigh. Back for a final goodbye.